We're live?
My question is,
We're live today?
do you think people really want to be winners? Or do you think they're just so stuck in their damn ways that they just want to live their mundane, boring life?
I'm a believer in people, Mark. I believe people want to win. I believe people want to succeed. I just believe people, they don't know what questions to ask. They don't know where to go to get the information. And as you mentioned, they're surrounded by people who are mediocre. And mediocrity is a virus. And it's keeping them down. So you got a lot of people that feel paralyzed, man. They're just sitting there, man, I want to win. I want to succeed. But there's nobody around them winning or succeeding. So they just think, hey, they start saying, well, it is what it is. Whatever the hell that means. Whenever I hear somebody say it is what it is, I think that's like no identity. That's
how long we've been recording for? 60 seconds. I think in that short 60-second clip right there, we just about summed it up. I think what you said just hit the freaking nail on the head. People don't want to win in life because of the people that they surround themselves with, right? Whether it's family, because family will mess you up.
Sure.
Friends, business associations, where you work, right? Most people go into the job, they hate their job, they hate the people that they work with, they hate their boss, and they're expecting their lives to be this above average. They have these dreams and goals. They have vision boards on their, in their office space, but they can't achieve those visions of those dreams because they're keeping themselves stuck and stagnant.
They said that there was an article I read the other day, and it said that it's like a 25 feet rule, and they did this simulation about people at the workplace that sat or worked within 25 feet of you, and said that if you sit within 25 feet of low performers, it's going to lower your performance
10%?
by 30%.
Stop it.
30%. But
30%.
if you sit within 25 feet of peak performers, it's going to increase your performance by 15%. So what they did is they did it like, it was like every week, every 2 weeks, they were interchanging out who worked, like who was peak performing, who was low performance, and then they got the right formula. So
that's mind blowing. There's this old adage we used to say in youth group when I was youth pastor, when it comes to reaching your friends for Jesus or whatever the case may be, you can use this principle for many different things.
Sure.
But we'd have a kid stand on a chair, and we would have their friend who was not standing on the chair grab onto their hands. And we would tell the kid standing on the chair, try to pull that friend up to the chair. And they'd be struggling. 5 minutes later, they'd get him up onto the chair, right, with all their strength. And then we flipped the roles and we said, hey, guy on the floor, pull your friend off of that chair. And it was a matter of just seconds. Boom, he just knocked him off the chair. Because it's easier to pull somebody down than it is to raise somebody up.
Yep.
Right? And you actually said something like that in business. It's easier to give birth than to
raise the dead.
Man. That's wild. And that's a universal principle I think we can all pay attention to right now. That if you're surrounding yourself with losers, you're inevitably going to be a loser. Period. But if you're starting to surround yourself with people of higher identity, higher income, higher lifestyle, you're inevitably going to become those things and you're going to start to win. That's one of the reasons we moved here to Dallas.
Yes.
Was to be a part of the bigger picture, be a part of the association.
But in order to make that decision to move, you had to be bold and courageous, because that's a life-changing decision that you made, and that's what separates us from animals is we have a choice.
And we got six
kids, and so it's not just
big deal.
You and your wife with no kids uprooting.
A lot of prayer, a lot of counsel went into it.
Because if it's the wrong decision, it can create a negative ripple effect.
Correct.
So there's three characteristics of a winner that I want to talk about.
To me.
There's three things that we have to get very clear, and we have to be intentional in our everyday lives for us to get to where we want to go. Because either in life you want to win or you want to lose. There's no in between.
Say it louder for the
in
people
life.
In the back.
You either want to win or you want to lose. There's no in between, my friends. Okay. So the first characteristic, Mark, of a winner is commitment. Commitment. See, a lot of people want the nice house, the fancy cars, the time freedom, the more time with their kids, but they're not willing to pay that price up front. And everything has a price. Mark my words, everything has a price. And most people are just one choice away from living the life that they want, and they're one commitment away from new beginnings. Think about that. One choice away from living your best life and one commitment away from new beginnings, guys. Okay. Are you willing to pay the price for your dreams up front in full? You can't wear the shoes before you pay for them. Right. You can try them on. For example, you can go to the car dealership, sit in the car, smell the car, but you can't drive it off the lot. Yeah. Unless you pay the price for it.
I just hope people are taking notes right now, because these are gems that you probably won't hear ever again. And this could potentially change the direction of your life. One single thing that one of us says, not that we're all that, not that we have everything figured out, but the things that we have been through together with our own families, in business, outside of business, have created these principles that we live by. And one principle could trigger a thought, trigger something in your life that will change the direction of your life. So I hope you guys are in a place where you're paying attention, where you're maybe sitting down. If you're on the road, make sure you sit down, rewind this, go back and take notes, because taking notes is going to help you lock that into your subconscious. Not just listening to it or reading it, actually writing it down on paper is going to lock it into your subconscious. So that's deep. Commitment's deep.
Note takers are money makers.
Note takers are money makers.
That's it.
Matter of fact, our $1 million coach even takes notes. When Jesse's up there, I'm up there for training. He's taking notes.
Yep.
Always taking notes. So anyway,
you're always
we digress.
Learning is a constant.
So commitment was a big one.
You're never going to arrive. Well, commitment, this is what commitment is, guys. For all of my married people, let me know if you're married. Let me know in the comments. But being married is a commitment.
Oh, yeah.
And being married is a commitment to that other person in your life long after that initial emotion in which you made the decision. So we just went to a recent event. It was we call it Train the Trainers. We had about 3,000 of our agents there. They were getting equipped with the knowledge, the know-how, the resources. And of course they left fired up. I'm going to go change the freaking world. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And now we're 2-3 weeks removed from it. But we don't, those same people that said, I'm going to go change the world, they've already fallen back into the kind of cruise control back. So remember, a commitment is following through with the plan long after the emotion in which you made the plan leaves you.
That's like when a guy and a girl meet, they hit that
butterflies.
cloud nine, butterflies.
Correct.
They want to impress everybody, and then a few weeks later, go by a few months later, or they get married, honeymoon stage is over, and then
I just don't feel that feeling anymore. I don't love you anymore.
Feelings go away, and they think they made a mistake. Right.
I wake up every single day and I look at my wife. I say, today I choose to love you.
There you go.
Love is a choice.
I choose that commitment to love you.
Correct.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yep. That wedding ring on your finger, do you know what it's for? That wedding ring is her ring to you. Is to look down, not to say, oh, I'm married. No, it's that ring saying, I'm committed to somebody.
Wow.
I'm committed to somebody else that has my full, like, everything, not her. It's your commitment to her, not her commitment to you. So, but anyway, commitment number one. Commitment number one is the first characteristics of a winner. And what I'm about to tell you guys, the next one's going to hurt some people. It's going to hurt, but listen here. You're never going to get to where you want to go if you don't experience some sort of hurt in life. And I'm not talking about hurt that's gonna put you in the grave, or hurt that's going to tear you down or belittle you. But this is the second characteristic, Mark, is discipline. This is going to hurt. It hurt me, but we all have a choice, right? We all have a choice. So discipline, guys. Getting rid of the things in your life that are not getting you closer to the mission you want to accomplish. For example, I had a conversation with a few of my kids. And I say a few because we got 7, right? So I said, listen, you want to become this, you want to become that. those video games you're playing for hours per day, is that getting you closer to where you want to go? Or is it taking you further away from where you want to go?
That's a conversation
we're
about to have tonight.
Dad, we're just kids. I understand that. But use that video game as a reward system.
Right.
Once you've hit your achievable targets. For example, we're about to go to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
The Bahamas is the reward for the discipline, the hard work, and the achievements up until that point.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be at the Bahamas if we weren't focused with the discipline to hit that overall mission.
Right.
So it's just, guys, get very clear on where you want to be 6 months from now, 12 months from now. Set you a goal, a mission, and then start working towards it every single day, guys. I know there's 4 money-making activities in our business in the financial industry. And if I find myself throughout the day focused on one of those not focused on one of those money-making activities, it is a distraction, and it's taking me away from where I'm trying to get.
Sure.
And I'm doing an injustice to my family because my family's at home thinking I'm here working, but I'm playing video games. Right. I'm over here shooting a bull for an hour with somebody else that's not making us money.
On social media.
It's not getting my family ahead.
Yeah.
So, and minimize the distractions. Distractions can be big, Mark. They can be small as well. Mm-hmm. So it can be anything that's taking you off course. Okay. It could be your spouse not even knowing it, shooting you a message before you're about to go into a presentation. It changes your energy.
Big.
It could be.
Well, let's talk about that as an entrepreneur, right? We work from home a lot. We have the ability to work from any place, any location, as long as we have a Wi-Fi. And one of the things that I struggle with is I have an office, I have a door, I have a lock, but I also have 6 kids that are always wanting daddy's attention, and they're always knocking on the door, trying to get in the door. Mm-hmm. I may be on with a client and I hear them calling my name, right? And those are distractions. Even though I love my family and they love me, they're not meaning to be a distraction, but it's a distraction taking my focus away from money producing activities so that I can provide the life that they truly deserve.
Yep.
That's big for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is your kids are a little bit younger than mine. Mm-hmm. My kids, my youngest is 13. So I had to sit my family down and say, listen, if daddy's working from home today, that means I'm working. Mm. Pretend I'm not here. Mm-hmm. Right. But it's tough for them because you're at home.
Right.
And it doesn't mean the same thing. Like you working at home doesn't mean the same thing to them. And then for a lot of entrepreneurs, if you work from home, it doesn't mean that you have this long honey-do list. I remember when me and my wife was first getting started in business, it's like, I'm at home trying to work, but I'm still doing the laundry. I'm still doing the yard. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I didn't get no work done. Mm-hmm. So therefore, when the money doesn't come in, it's like, how are we paying the bills? Mm-hmm. Right? Well, I was doing all this. You're doing a lot of busy work, not productive work, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so you can't continue the same daily patterns that got you to where you currently are, because a lot of people are feeling stuck. So you got to change those daily patterns, those daily habits. Okay. And as new entrepreneurs, you have to understand that you're going to go through seasons. So seasons of business, some seasons you're going to have a lot of momentum for whatever reason. Some seasons it may seem a little bit slower than others. So you've ever seen the it's like not a meme, but it's just like an article. It shows the entrepreneur growth chart is up and down,
kind of like a animated illustration looking thing.
Correct. And then after about 5 years, bam, it's straight up.
Right.
So it's a lot of people. That's why a lot of people aren't entrepreneurs, because they can't handle the ups and the downs. They just want the steady, little to no growth type thing, because it's secure.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if you focus on your daily habits and consistency and commitment, guess what? That's where you can have a secure lifestyle, secure income.
Yeah, that's big.
But seasons, you're going to have some momentum behind you. And I'm telling you guys this because you're going to have a season. Let's say it's a 3-month season where everything that can go right is going right. But then you may have a month or two that if it can go wrong, it does go wrong. That doesn't mean
Murphy's
quit.
Law? Is that
Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
It's going to slap you around. But it doesn't mean quit. It doesn't mean pick up your roots and plant your roots somewhere else. The grass is not greener on the other side. and stop chasing this shiny object. You just got to weather the storm, because after every storm, there is a ray of sunshine at the end of every storm. And that was God's promise to us, right? I will never flood the earth again. That's where the rainbow comes from, right? But that's all I'm going to say about a rainbow. But that's it.
Another podcast.
So the first characteristics is what? Commitment. The second characteristics is discipline. And the third characteristics is something I hit on just a while ago, consistency. So consistency is really big because, you know, there was a time when I had a spare tire on my stomach, right? I was consistent, but I was consistent in the bad things. That's it. I was consistent. I was consistently drinking a lot of sugar, eating a lot of donuts, right? I was consistently eating ice cream at 11:30 at night. And that was a result of the consistency.
So a lot of us have a consistency problem. Or probably most of America does. Most of the world has a consistency problem. We could be really consistent at things, but man, what if they're not the right things that are causing us to achieve the right goals, right? If we want to be consistent on, okay, let's use an easy one, right? Everybody brushes their teeth, right? Hopefully. Right? Hopefully. We'll find out if you come to the office and we get to meet you, right? Hopefully you're consistent, but you do that automatically. And because you were so consistent at it when you were younger, now it's just you don't even think about it. Hopefully you're consistent putting deodorant on, maybe taking showers, right? You know, those types of things you can be very good at, and it'll give you a good outcome. But you can also be consistent at eating pizza at 3 p.m. every single day, eating a tub of ice cream at 11 p.m., watching a movie every single night. And those consistent activities that you're doing are going to cause adverse results. They're going to cause the wrong results. They're going to cause you to gain weight, feeling sluggish, tired. So I think consistency is big. We just have to figure out what exactly we need to be consistent with.
It's going to take, so one of the biggest traits anybody can have is the trait of self-awareness. But people, I believe when you can look in the mirror, people are scared because that mirror is both the problem and the solution.
Right.
And it highlights, people don't like to know what they're bad at. But if they can be aware enough, hey, this isn't working for me. This is pulling me away from my goals. This is hindering my marriage. This is hindering my relationship with my children. Now they're aware. They've identified it. That's the first step in problem solving, is identifying the problem.
Sure.
Right. And then once they can get clear on what causes it, now they can start to make these paradigm shifts and changes. And it doesn't have to be every change at one time. It can be one change here, one tweak here.
A little bit. Yep.
Correct. And then with consistency, I just ask, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're part of a team, are you the go-to person? Are you the person that they can, that boss, that leader, like they can call upon you and they know you're going to answer the call, right? Or are you that person that, you know, they think you quit every single day because they don't know what to expect from you. And then we just break the consistency down. If we know our goal, if I told you, Mark, my goal upon starting this business in 5 years, I want to be at $250,000 of income.
Sure.
I know where I want to go. And then you break it down and you say, Jesse, okay, if you're serious about making $250,000 per year, this is what you're going to have to do. This is the plan. All you have to do is follow the plan and you're going to be at $250,000. You got to show up to the meetings on Tuesday and Saturday. You got to make this many phone calls. You got to message this many people. You got to do this many videos. You got to go eat lunch at McDonald's every day at 12 o'clock. And then if you do these things, just as I laid them out, you're going to be at $250,000.
Sure.
Even though that's my mission and I know exactly what I have to do, why would I still choose not to do those things?
Why?
That's the weirdest thing in the world. Like that's what we have to become very aware of, and we have to get clarity on why somebody's not doing what they know they need to be doing in order to get that overall result. Because I've always been told since high school, basketball, is you can't get pissed off at the results you didn't get for the work you weren't willing to do.
Right.
And a lot of people out there want full-time income with half-ass effort. And you're not going to get it, guys. And you owe it to your family. You owe it to your friends. You owe it to everybody who chooses to surround themselves around you, because your limiting beliefs about yourself, your limiting efforts is affecting their performance. Remember, 25 feet rule. you're lowering their performance by 30% just because you're not elevating your life.
Wow.
Your decisions have a ripple effect, and you got to change them, my friend.
That's powerful.
But that's the 3 characteristics of a winner.
Talk to me about the example that you were sharing with me earlier about about going to a job that you hate, right? Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it, and being consistent with that because you know that if you didn't, what would happen? Give me that example.
Okay, so how many of you right now, let me know in the comments, how many of you hate your job?
Or hated your job.
Hated your job or hate going to your job. And then I'm going to ask you, what are some of the things you hated about it? And then I'm going to ask you
negativity.
Yeah, boss, negativity, negative coworkers, because I sit within 25 feet of I sit within 5 feet of some negative Nancy that's always complaining and whining. We call them, they have a bitch mentality, right? Grant Cardone says bitch just means a whiner or complainer, right, which is true.
Sure.
And then from there, I'm going to ask you, why do you continue going to a job you hate or hated? And you're probably going to answer,
got to pay the bills.
I got to pay the bills. I got a house payment. Yep. Okay, what happens if you don't pay the house payment?
Yeah, I get kicked out, get evicted.
You and your family's going to be homeless,
living on the streets.
So you continue to go to a job you don't like, that you don't like and that you hate. Just like many of middle class America, the number one cause for death in America is heart attacks. Over 60% of heart attacks occur on Monday morning between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m.
Wow.
We're trading, and this is what we're taught. We're taught to trade 5 days per week for 2 days off. The stress and anxiety from having to go back to work on Monday morning is literally killing us. It's causing heart attacks.
Yeah.
And we're going to a job we don't like to make money to fund a lifestyle that we're not happy with.
Because they know the negative outcome would happen if they stopped going to that job.
Correct.
But let's flip it on the other side. If you knew, like you said, you could make $250,000 a year in the next 12 months if you only did this very consistent thing every single day and did not give up, would you do it? Why is it that most people won't do it?
Because most people don't have a coach in their life. They don't have systems to run. They've never been surrounded with people to pour belief into them.
Right. That's a big one. That was a big one for us.
So they've been told, well, think about it. In the 2nd, 3rd grade, let me ask you a question, Mark. What did you, in the 3rd grade, what did you want to become? When you grew up, when you say, when I grow up, I'm going to be this. What was it?
I mean, doctor.
Okay. What's the salary for a physician assistant?
$150,000, $160,000 maybe, something like that.
Okay. So you start to say, okay, my potential, because you're going to look in, when you're in high school, you're going to look, what's a PA make?
Sure.
Okay. 150,000. Now here I come to you. Hey, in the next 3 to 5 years, I can show you how to make $1 million per year. But you already been bought that you're only worth 150,000.
Wow.
Or firefighter,
Sure.
80,000.
Yeah.
Now here you come along saying, hey, I can show you how to make $250,000. Get out of here. That must be a scam or a Ponzi scheme.
Wow.
Because in our education system has taught us to think, act, and feel a certain way towards things they didn't teach us. And they didn't teach us about entrepreneurship or business ownership.
That's wild.
Therefore, we have to, not until we surround ourselves with believers, with dreamers, with doers, will we begin to think and act like an entrepreneur and begin to elevate ourselves higher.
So I think that's the difference between winners and losers. Is winners hang around winners, losers hang around losers. But I think even coming out of the worst, crappiest position that you could ever come out of, right? Let's say you grew up in the slums, in the ghetto, your family was torn apart, divorced, you lived with a single mom, maybe you didn't even have family.
Sure.
You condition your own mind to believe that's where you come from and that's who you are and that's where you're always going to stay. But that's the complete opposite, because if you're a child of God and a child of the Most High, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and he wants the best for you, we have to recondition our mind to know that even though I came from this crappy position, this crappy situation, I'm not supposed to stay there. And all I have to do is make one or two decisions to rearrange my life, to get myself around the right people at the right time in the right places, that I could achieve those dreams that I have. But it takes being in the association of the right people. It really does. And most people aren't willing to break out of their comfort zone.
See, most people are loyal to the wrong things. They're loyal to things that aren't good for them.
Mm.
They're loyal to people that have stabbed them in the back, that have lied about them, that have accused them of things.
Right.
They're still loyal because that's all they know. I was having a conversation with my wife one day. I said, why is it that women, have you ever heard somebody say, I always attract the wrong types of men?
Always.
Or the wrong types of
Yep.
women? Well, it's because that's who you are.
Sure.
And I told my wife, I said, and this is when we first met, I told her, I said, a woman or a man will, we men go in phases. A man will do something wrong, a woman will leave the man, and the man says, oh, baby, I'm sorry. No. And then he's good for 2-3 months, and then bam, he does it again. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. He didn't really change. I said, he wants to come back to you because he's not done hurting you yet. And the woman always goes back to the guy because that's what she's familiar with. Even though she knows that's not what's best for her, she goes because that's what she's familiar with. That's why people go back to a job that they don't like, because they're familiar with the 9-to-5.
Yeah.
They're familiar with income. That's why people continue to put money into the bank, even though they're getting less than 1% and their money's not working for them and it's not growing for them. They do it because that's what they've been taught, and that's what
their
they're familiar
mama did.
with.
That's what their grandmama did. Their aunts, uncles, cousins do it.
Same thing with a 401k, with an IRA, with a stock market. That's all they freaking know.
Right.
But there's a reason why the wealthy get wealthier and the poor and middle class get poorer. The wealthy are doing different things than the middle class.
Sure.
And until they say, okay, hold on. What are the wealthy doing? And how can I do it? Their life's not going to change. Their financial situation is not going to change. Their financial stability for future generations isn't going to change until they start asking those questions.
Wow.
So, and we see it all the time with our videos. People in our comments, we get 100 comments on a video, or 500 comments on a video. 100 of them will all be negative. That's not true. That's a lie.
Right.
You can't do that. You can't. Like Will Rogers said, it's not what you think you know that'll kill you. It's what you. It's not what you know that'll kill you. It's what you think you know that just ain't so.
Right.
So until you can empty that cup and learn something new, then everything's going to be the same, man.
That's wild.
So, but stop being loyal to the wrong people. Stop being loyal to the wrong people, guys.
So, guys, if you found value in this podcast, do me a favor. We're going to take a little poll, maybe do a little book giveaway again, right? If you remember the 3 things that Jesse just gave you, the 3 nuggets that he just went over in this podcast, drop them in the comment section and let us know your biggest takeaway. Maybe next podcast, if we have enough activity in the comment section, we'll raffle off a new book that'll potentially change your life. Actually, there's a good book that we're reading right now called Psycho-Cybernetics, and we may just be able to raffle that off, but not unless you guys are active and engaged in this video, in this podcast, wherever you're hearing it. If you need to just message us on Instagram or Facebook and share your takeaways, do that. That's fine. But do something. Don't just sit there and consume and consume and consume. Start to give back. Start to implement what you're listening to here. You got any final words, Coach?
I just want to let everybody know that the moment you make a choice to live your best life, today can be that day to turn the page for the rest of your life, guys. That's it, Mark.
That's it, man. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the thumbs up button and share this podcast to your social media network. And as always, we appreciate you. Appreciate your loyalty. We're growing a big-ass community, and we're excited to have you a part of it. We have a free Facebook group. Feel free to join that, the Legacy Syndicate. And we just rolled out something pretty monumental. Should we talk about that a little bit? We'll save that for the next podcast.
If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, and you need some systems, go ahead and let us know in the comments. We got some for you.
Check the description out. But we appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Appreciate it.
Peace.